Hey guys, welcome back. I hope everyone is having a happy Valentine's Day weekend. I know I certainly will be snuggling up, hoping that the snowstorm we're supposed to get won't knock the power out. But hey, Commander by Candlelight sounds romantic, right?
Alright, block there. Kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board.
But back to the gameplay. Today is going to be a faster game of Commander. First up is Boris, playing Elsha of the Infinite. This is an Artifacts Matter combo deck that uses mana reduction spells and Sensei's Divining Top, along with her ability to cast non-creature spells off the top of her library to infinitely cast top, to just storm out, or even for the prowess triggers to take someone out as well. Next up is MTG Loots, who has brought back his Tymna Kraum list. This deck is more commonly known as Opus Thief, and is a 4-color wheel deck that uses a variety of cards to gain advantage off wheeling while denying his opponents. With new includes such as Hull Breacher and Opposition Agent, he hopes this will take the deck over the edge. Third up is Porfs, who has brought the ever-popular Meren Golgari Reanimator deck. If you've somehow never heard of her, Meren uses her powerful reanimation ability to play out of the graveyard and accrue lots of value. This is a Sack Hulk deck that aims to reanimate and sacrifice Protean Hulk as quickly as possible and combo out early. And lastly, we have Junior, who has brought his Najela list. This is a 5-color Thassa's Consultation list that backdoors into an infinite creatures and combats combo with Najela, who even on her own, if left unchecked, can amass a horde of warriors to take people out. But without further ado, let's get on to the gameplay. But one last thing though, before the game, Lutz ends up mulliganing to 5. Boris starts off the game with a City of Brass. He follows it up with a Chrome Mox, imprinting a Chain of Vapor. Still not done, he casts a Mana Crypt, and then taps it and the rest of his mana to cast a Transmute artifact. He sacrifices his Mana Crypt to grab a Sensei's Divining Top, and pays 1 extra. He finishes his turn by topping. After he finishes shuffling though, he lets Lutz go so the table doesn't have to wait. Lutz has a fast turn, cracking a Bloodstained Mire to grab an Underground Sea, but is done after that. Porf similarly has a simple turn 1. He plays a tapped Agadim the Undercrypt and passes after that. Junior shocks in an Underground Tomb and uses it to cast a Carpet of Flowers. He goes to his second main and uses the carpet for 1 green to cast an Arbor Elf, but is done after that. Boris starts with a Ponder and realizes immediately he wants to shuffle it away. He draws his 1 card and then plays a Plateau as land and passes. But on his end step, Lutz casts a Mystical Tutor for a Brainstorm. Lutz draws the tutored Brainstorm and then immediately casts it. He puts 2 cards back on top and then plays a tapped Steam Vents and passes. Porfs plays and cracks a Misty Rainforest to grab a Bayou, but shortcuts and casts an Oakheim Adversary and passes after that. Junior activates his Carpet on his first main and uses it to cast Heuristic Study, leaving 1 blue floating. He doubles down on the taxing effects when he uses the 1 blue to cast a Mystic Remor as well. He passes after that. But at his end step, Boris tops and rearranges the cards and then goes to his turn. Boris starts off his turn by playing an island, and then not knowing exactly what to do, he decides to top again. He rearranges them and then passes after that. Lutz shocks in a Godless Shrine and then feeds the fish by casting a Rhystic of his own. He passes after that. Porf plays a forest as land, and then moves to combat, swinging the adversary at Junior, who takes it, and Porf draws a card. On his second main phase, he casts a Runic Armor Sword, not paying for either Rhystics, and passing after that. Junior lets the fish die, and starts his turn off by activating his Carpet for 2 red. He then plays a City of Brass as his land for turn, and follows it up with a Najela, but doesn't pay the Rhystic tax and lets Lutz draw. He then untaps his Underground Tomb with the Arbor Elf, triggering Porf's Armasaur, letting him draw a card as well. And, feeling generous again, he casts a Demonic Tutor, and doesn't pay the Rhystic tax again. He searches out a card and then passes his turn. Boros starts his turn by cracking his Bloodstained Mire, triggering the Armasaur again, and he grabs a Volcanic Island and follows it up with a Time Twister. He chooses not to pay for any of the taxes, and Lutz and Junior both draw a card. And then Junior attempts to counter the spell with a Fierce Guardianship, triggering Lutz's Rhystic and not paying for it. Responding to that, Boros activates his top, and unfortunately for him, he doesn't find an answer, and the Twister is countered and he's done after that. Lutz then plays and cracks a flooded strand, triggering the armor store again. He grabs a volcanic island and then casts a toxic deluge, where X equals 5 to clear away the board. He does pay for the Ristic tax and then passes after that. Porf starts his turn by bolting himself to crack a wooded foothills to grab an untapped underground tomb. He follows it up by casting a Collector Oof, to which Boros activates his top to rearrange the top of his library. And Porf pays for both Ristic study triggers. Having nothing else, Porf passes the turn. Junior starts his turn by activating his carpet for 3 blue mana. He then plays a Mana Conflux as land and then casts a Thassa's Oracle. He doesn't pay for the Ristic and Lutz draws, but the spell resolves, and holding priority, Junior casts a Demonic Consultation, also not paying for the Ristic. Unfortunately for the table, Lutz doesn't find an answer and the consultation resolves, exiling Junior's entire library, and he wins with the Thassa's trigger. Game review. Sorry for the game being quick, but it's just how some games of CEDH are. It shows the power of Thassa's Oracle and how easy it is to abuse it. I thought the game was going to be very different when Boros had his great turn 1, but unfortunately for him, once the Time Twister got countered, he just didn't have the gas to keep up. As for Lutz, it probably wasn't the correct play to deluge, but in his defense, he thought Junior tutored for a combo card with Najela, and that by wiping away the board, he earned himself a little more time. As for Porfs, he was in a tough situation, as without counter magic, it's very hard to interact with this combo. But the question to the viewer, should Thassas be banned? I know judging on how the rules committee bans cards, it most likely won't happen, but I'd love to hear your arguments on why it should or shouldn't be banned in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and if you did, leave a like and consider subscribing, as it really helps us keep making videos. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.